Hey, my friend, I wanted to teach you about the gap model. Okay, so this is the man I want to be. Okay, that's who we want to be. The man I am today. Now, there's a gap between that. The gap between that. Most men think the problem is this gap. But, my friends, the gap is not the problem. Most people think that, you know what? I'm going to be more motivated. Did that work? No. Okay, well, let's try maybe more disciplined. How'd that work out? Okay. Well, what if I had more information? If information changed, every man who owned a self-help book would be transformed. Okay? But you know what? That is not the problem. So the real problem in this is man I want to be to the man I am today takes repeated action. So if you're doing the same thing, because men believe that identity is action, right? So men believe that identity to action. So who I am is going to be what I do. But it's actually the other way around. It's what I do equals who I am. So when you begin to act in a certain way and you begin to do the things here in the ability to be the man that you want to be, that is when you are going to create the identity. So between the man you want to be and the man you are today, it is repeated action. It's doing the things that you necessarily need to do to be that man. So I want to show you the identity loop real quick here. So the identity loop will show you exactly how to begin that identity and how to understand that. So we start with action. Okay, we have action. Then we go to the result. So you get the result from the action that you're doing. Then this creates the belief that you can actually be that man you want to be. And then again, it leads you back to action. That is how simple it is to create that identity. So every action creates the evidence. The evidence creates the belief, and the belief creates future actions. And we do that over and over and over again. And doing that is what creates that identity of who you want to be. So here's an example. An example would be, let's say the action is you skipped your workout. So skipped workout. Okay, we skipped the workout, that's the action. The result is that you're going to feel, let's say you feel disappointed. Okay, so now the result is that you feel disappointment. So now it goes into the belief is I'm inconsistent. I'm inconsistent. Okay, that's the belief. So the action is you skip it again. And you go around and around and around, and that is how you feel because you skip the workout, you feel disappointed, and then you believe that you're inconsistent, so you just do it again. But what if we go the other way around? Okay? What if we didn't skip the workout and we did the workout? Okay? So now we've gone to the gym. Now we have proof, right? We feel great. Now we have proof that we can do the workout and we feel great. So our belief is, you know what? I might actually be capable. You're like, I might actually be capable. So what do? You know what? I'm going to do another workout. And that is how you create that identity, right? It's all in here. It's all in the proof. It's all in the result that you create. Confidence equals proof. And the more confidence you have, because confidence, I've said before, confidence is built in doing the action. If you're like, you know what, I'm going to be confident. It's like, confident in what? For example, you want to be a public speaker. You're like, I'm going to be confident, but I have to be confident before I get on stage. It's never going to happen. You have to do the action to get the result. You know what? I went up on stage. I felt good. I think I rocked it. Some people said it was really good. Some people said it wasn't. But that created the proof, which caused the belief, you know what? Yeah, I might actually be capable of being a public speaker. So you try it again. And this is where you build that confidence, you create that life that you want. So this is where most men drift. Who I want to be to who I am now. We drift into this new person because, you know what? We have one excuse. Or, you know, maybe we have one distraction that puts us off of being that man we want to be. Or maybe you know what, we're going to compromise. We have one compromise. I spelled that wrong, but it's okay. Or maybe we have one, you know, I'm in a busy season right now. So what you want to do is you want to be this new man. So you go up here, this is who I want to be, yeah, great. But instead of being up there, yeah, that's who I am, we go down because we drift. One excuse into one compromise, into one distraction, into one result, and then we end up being this person because you know what? You're like, I'm just going to settle. I'm just going to settle to be the person because that's who I am. And you limit yourself to where you want to be. And then you drift. You drift into that person by one disconnection. You know, you begin to have the reaction. You're reacting to this life. Then you isolate. Then you have forgetfulness, and then you just tolerate. You just tolerate. And when you live that life and you begin not to move into that area of your life, men slowly drift from who they want to become into who they actually are. And my friend, I don't want you to get into that place. Most men think, I need to be the current man to get to the future man. But that's not how it works. Nope. You want to be your future man, which creates the current man. Okay? So you want to be this new person now. Be, do, have. Once you act in a way that this guy would act today, that is when you begin to create that life and you begin to be that man that you want to be. The question isn't, how do I become this guy? The question is, what would this guy do today? Right? And when we do what this guy does today, that is when you begin to create that life and that person that you want to be. Like I said to you before, the best way to get from here to here is to begin to be like this guy today. So let's say you start thinking, right? We're going to do green. Start thinking like that guy. Well, that's gonna get you closer. Or maybe you start feeling. So you're starting to think like that guy. Now let's feel like him. Right? Right? Now we're feeling like that guy. Okay? And then finally, we're going to do the actions it takes to be that guy. Remember my motto. The life's operating system, which starts in your head. Every thought you think creates an emotion. That emotion, how you feel, is how you create that life, and then you begin to act like that guy. That's how you create that life that you want. And when you begin to act, think, feel, act in the man of the future man today, that is how you create that life that you want to live. I hope this gave you a little bit of insight. It's probably not a very long teaching, but I wanted to give you some. I'm a visual learner, so I want to give those out there a little bit of visual learning. Let me know in the comments the things that you can think, feel, and do to become that future man that you are today.